is an economist. He's an intelligence analyst. He's an advocate for Montgomery County. He's a great neighbor. A family of legal immigrants from the 1980s from Bolivia. He raised kids. He's built a business. He's invested in our community. He's a local graduate, a college graduate locally, economist, a former federal government worker, and now in private enterprise. This is his second run. He was the top Republican vote getter 4 years ago for county council. He's smart, he's dedicated, he's humorous, and he's community oriented. I have known a lot of county council members. Harold will be a great addition. Harold Maldonado.
Thank you, Dennis, GOP, MoCo, officers, fellow candidates. It gives me great pleasure to be here again tonight before you. But before we start, I'd like to ask you to please have a moment of silence for Charlie Kirk and all the victims that have suffered under the hands of illegal aliens. Thank you, Dennis, for that warm introduction. Those who know me I don't really have to say much. You guys, we've been in the trenches. I've seen you guys in the last campaign, and I see you guys, most of you, during the year. So, why are we here? We are in the middle of a crisis in the county. We are in the middle of a national pandemic of ill-advised actions by the other side. Democrats are destroying communities, destroying the economy, and are destroying our county. So everything you're seeing in Minnesota, that's what they want to do here in the county. That's why Eldridge and the council members are dead set on supporting illegals. They are passing bills, the trust plan. You know what that is? No. It is a bill that has to do with requiring a warrant before they go to any county government office. So, and they should be wearing should not be wearing any masks. Right. So how ironic it is in 2020 that these same people were pushing for masks. Exactly. So we are living in a failed county. I don't know about you, but last midterms in 2022, we wanted good candidates, and of course we lost. And we gave them a chance. We said, do the right thing. Serve your residents. Serve the business person who always wants to create jobs and create investments. Have they done that? I don't think so. When's the last time a council member did anything positive for the county? Raise your hand.
Never. Check on money.
Yeah. Public safety is in shambles with crime out of hand. Violent crime. I was talking to my daughter on the way in, and I asked her, was there a stabbing in Deerwood? No, Dad, you're wrong. There was a stabbing a daylight stabbing on Flower Hill.
Makes it better.
Different place.
The council is pricing us out from our homes. Utility bills, property taxes. Have you seen your latest property tax assessment?
Yeah, they're up to 20%.
Again, our economy is in shambles. We are actually in a recession. The government doesn't want to produce any data, and conveniently, they said that the federal government is not going to publish any more county economic data. So how convenient. So this takes me to talking about my contender on the other side, which is right now the incumbent Dawn Luedtke. I'd like to take this opportunity to congratulate Dawn Luedtke for not disappointing us. She did everything we thought she was going to do, and even worse. She's incompetent. She has not delivered on the many promises that she made during the campaign in 2022. And let me ask you this, before 2022, did you know her during the campaign? Nothing. She had the campaign in the bag because that's how Democrats work. They are using underhand tactics to gain public office, and this is happening everywhere. I mean, I don't know about you, but in 2022, I said, the Democrats are going to steal the elections, and they have. And many people in this room and many others said, I think you're exaggerating. I think you're not, where's your proof? Where's your source? Well, everybody now is aware of the sources, the mail-in ballots, the illegals voting for Democrats, and that's what the plan is. The plan is for the Democrats, is to support illegals, support them, give them EBT, food stamps, give them cash, free health care.
Driver's licenses?
Exactly. And what they're replacing their political base, because they know they don't have their political base support anymore. They don't have the minorities, they don't have the black community. They're losing the black community on a fast pace. The Hispanic community is waking up to the truth and turning to the GOP. Why? Because we are common sense. We are about reducing taxes. We are about improving the lives of people who live in our district. A little bit more about Dawn Luedtke. She's a puppet of the radical extreme left Democrats whose job is to price us out, the middle class, and of course, this is their plan. And I've talked about this in my channel, MoCo Resistance. They want to impose Thrive 2050 on us. That is the UN 2030 agenda. And that is creating smart cities in the county. That's what they're doing. All the drones you see replacing police officers, that's what it is. And they're pushing forward. Why do you think the council travels to Taiwan every 1 or 2 years? They want to go there and kiss the ring and bring back marching orders in order to force their current plan. So, what other things are they doing? They talk about the environment. Last week, they talked about putting more money into the green bank.
It's their bank.
Exactly. And I heard sessions this week on that, and everybody in the council said, yes, we want to beef up the banks so we can fight climate change. We are all about climate. Complete lie, complete disingenuous lie, hypocrites. So why is Evan Glass not allowing minorities to use gas-powered leaf blowers?
Yeah.
Why is Dawn Luedtke allowing unleaded leaded fuel in the Airpark? That's giving us 100,000 tons of leaded fuel on our air. How does that make any sense? Right, so a little bit more about Dawn Luedtke in the Airpark. Noise levels are hurting the quality of life. In 2019, there were 27 complaints about the noise. And today, it's more than 3,000. So, if you're our council member, you're supposed to work on the issues that affect your residents. 3,000 more residents have voiced their concern about the noise of the Airpark. Have you done anything? Nothing. the Airpark operates on a loss of $500,000 a year. How does that make sense financially? Who's paying for that stuff? We are.
The subsidized.
Correct. They created the committee of the Airpark in 2023, but I've been to meetings of that committee. It's a clown show. There's no seriousness about addressing any problems. They write reports. They're great they're just like the IMF or the World Bank. Great reports. Here are the issues and here are the solutions. Other than that, they don't do anything. Okay, going back to how expensive it is to live here in the county. Property taxes are going up beyond the inflation rate. That's common knowledge. How are your utility prices? How is your gas price? How is your water bill this month? How is your Pepco bill? Is it manageable?
What's going on?
No.
So,
We have some problems. We have also, if you own a car, you might as well get into a payment plan to register your car every 2 years. That's also a problem, and it's policies that, as an economist, I look at everything from macro and micro, right? You can connect them both. So on the macro level, you have the country, you have blue states that are increasing fees. Westmore, he doesn't want to raise taxes, but he increases fees. Same concept, but
it's a hidden tax.
exactly, and that's what people in the county need to wake up to. The council does not work for us. The council is a capture operation, and we need change now. Now, we're living in a crisis, and the colleagues behind me, they're running, and it takes a lot to run in this county. But we are fearless and very strong in our convictions, and with your support, I think we can do a lot better this time. This is my second go around, so I know the tricks. I know what the other side likes to do. They like to sit back because they have the media, they have the NGOs under the
Unions?
Yes, in the unions under their belt, in their pocket. So there's no need to really campaign that much. Exactly. So we're gonna do social media. We're gonna go door knocking. That's why I decided to start in January, so we can have a team together and go knock on doors, do sign waving and all that good stuff. Crime. Do you feel safe at home in your neighborhood?
No.
Violent crimes have increased more than 55% in the last 4 years. And conveniently, the latest crime report by the county says that crime has decreased. What data are they using? What data? Yeah, exactly. So, as a Democrat, you probably know this, but this is their tactic. They want to tell you what you want to hear. If you're a student, if you're, yes, we're going to create jobs. We're going to work with private sector so we can create internships. And yeah, we're bringing in big corporations. They're going to bring big jobs. So you are guaranteed a job after graduation. Is that a fact? No. Where do you go to get jobs in this area? You go to Virginia. You go to Howard County. You go to DC. Unemployment is rising in Montgomery County, and there's no job creation. The economy, actually, private data, has been contracting for the last 3 quarters, so we are currently in a recession in the county. There's a negative growth in jobs. What does that mean? Normally, you create jobs or you don't create jobs. But if you create negative jobs, that means that companies that are operating in the county leave the county and go somewhere else. So you lose jobs. So those are negative jobs that result from the policies of the county. 2022. 2023, the new council comes in, Fanny Gonzalez and all those guys say, we're going to bring in, because we know what's wrong with the county. We know what's wrong with the economy. We need to reduce regulations. Okay, they brought in someone, and it was a work session in the council, and they said, yeah, we're going to reduce red tape, regulations. We're going to streamline procedures, et cetera, et cetera. That's what they wanted to sell at that time, and people believed it. Has anything happened after that work session? Nothing. And we have a lot of business owners in this audience, and I got to salute you, because it takes a lot of guts to have a business in Montgomery County. And I know our vice chairman Sully has a business, and I don't know how he does it. I have no idea. But kudos to him and all others. But that's what's going on in the county. So what are the solutions? Very simple. Very simple. 3 things: crime, economy, Airpark. What do we do about crime? My plan is to bring in federal agencies, start establishing close relationships with DHS, ICE, FBI, everybody. And so we can work together to clean our streets, to clean our communities, because we know there's organized crime in the county. We know there's organized crime in every part of District 7, more in Montgomery Village, in those areas. But we know Damascus is also starting to suffer from organized crime. What else can we do? I propose introducing bills to remove the accountability board restrictions on police. And do you know who created the accountability board? It was Dawn Luedtke and her husband, Eric Luedtke, when they were working in the state. I've talked to police officers, and that's what they're afraid to do their work, because they might get punished, they might get reviewed or sanctioned. So I'm going to do that. That's going to be the first item of business when I win in December. All right, what else can we do? We focus police work on manpower rather than on drones. We need police officers on the streets. We need to get that population police officer ratio up. It's currently 2.2, I believe. It's probably under that. We're gonna raise that up. How? We need money. Well, we don't have to spend money on things that we don't need. We don't need the green bank, and focus on red areas: Montgomery Village, Dearwood, Gaithersburg, and that's how we reduce crime immediately. All right. So we need money to do that, and you brought out a good point. I want to create a Doge. I want to create a Doge program for the county. So I'm going to be calling for a full audit of council finances for the last 10 years. I want to know what we spend it on, if there are receipts, and I believe that it's going to be worse than Minnesota. Review contracts with NGOs. You know how many NGOs we have in the county? More than 5,000 NGOs.
Crazy.
How does that work?
A lot of duplication.
Exactly. So I'm thinking we have the Somalia agenda in Montgomery County.
It's a money laundering.
And also, by doing the audit, we're gonna direct budget items, we're gonna save money, and then that's how we're gonna get money for the police. That's how we're gonna get money for education. So that's one of the things. Second point on the economy. We're gonna refocus expenditures on budget items that address current resident concerns. For example, raise your hand if you live up north near Damascus or Damascus? Yeah, how's your high school going?
All right, can you tell me?
So it needs to get renovated. And residents in Damascus have been pleading with the council. Please renovate our school. Please renovate our school. It's old. It's falling apart. Have they done anything? No. And you know why they don't do it? Because it's a GOP area. That's why they don't do it. On my first day, we're gonna do the audit. We're gonna get funds. and we're going to start renovating Damascus High School because it's time to. There's, why debate it? Why think about it? It's something that needs to be done. It's education. It's for our kids. Second point on that, more money for the police department. I know they have issues. I know there's a lot of problems with the current police chief in terms of his ability to do his work. We're gonna give him funds. We're gonna give him funds so he can hire more police officers, and along with reducing the chokeholds on the accountability board, we can get police and we can get crime addressed immediately. What else can we do about the economy? I'm gonna be proposing a freeze on property taxes for 2 years.
I thought it would roll back.
We need to do that because we need the middle class and the working class, they need a break. And by freezing property taxes for 2 years, it's gonna give us time to assess the financial wherewithal of council finances, and we can go ahead and decide whether to reduce or continue with that. But we're not gonna raise any property taxes because.
The state's doing it already.
Exactly. What else? Freeze and lower utility bills will work directly with WSSC and PEPCO. And of course, streamline regulations for businesses. We need to do that. I'm gonna create a fund to incentivize businesses to open shop in the county. We've lost Amazon, we've lost the FBI headquarters, and we need to bring in investment. We need to create tax incentives for private businesses to open shop in the county. So what is that going to create? It's going to reduce the obstacles to the economy, and then we're going to have free enterprise again thrive in the county. It's not going to be quick. I'm not saying we're going to grow at 3-4% a year. No, what I'm saying is we're going to remove all the roadblocks first in order for the economy to start working again for residents. And with a freeze in property taxes, the middle class and the working class are going to have some relief financially. And lastly, the Airpark. Well, we're going to use the same MoCo Doge that we're going to create, and we're going to go to the Airpark. We're going to go and review the finances and bring in, I wrote this down, FDA, DHS, DOJ, FBI, EPA. EPA needs to come in to assess the pollution that's going into our air. We have children, we have families living under that pollution. We need to address that immediately. Why the FBI, you ask? There are foreign pilots training in that Airpark. I want to know why. What interest do they have? Where do they come from? What's their background? And I have some information on that, but I'll let that information later on in the campaign. But that's my plan. Very simple. Of course, education is also in my radar, and I want to make sure that our kids are focused on the core values: math, reading. Currently, the county is not adhering to the Supreme Court decision on the opt-out question. So I want to make sure that we work with MCPS and the Board of Education, and I hope also that we get Republicans in the Board of Education as well. So with that, I'll open the floor for any questions that you may have.
I heard something about data centers. We're trying to put a data center in here someplace.
That's in the works right now in terms of discussions. I haven't seen any.
Is that good? Is that a good thing?
What was the question, Harold? We can't hear
About
back.
data centers, whether or not they're gonna put a data center in someplace in Montgomery County?
So
They're all talk. We don't-
Yeah, the data center is a plan by the Trump administration, and they want to do that to increase the efforts of making America a leading force in AI. So that's going to require a lot of energy. The data centers are going to demand a lot of energy, and currently the energy, the grid is it's not good for that. So energy-wise, a good question, by the way. So you have Democrats in the council and the executive saying, we want to work and to help the environment. There's a climate change and whatever. Complete lie. And at the same time, they have closed plants. Why do we have high utility bills? Why do we have high electric bills? Because the current grid that we have, because of the decisions by Democrats in the state, that's why we have high rates. We're paying for their ill-advised decisions, and also we're paying because they don't like fossil fuels. They closed out plants, and those plants need to be reopened. And I'm hoping the guys who are going to run for the state governorship are going to win, and we can turn around. We can have a quick turnaround in terms of addressing the energy issues. Good questions. Any other questions? Yes.
I wanted to mention that we get a lot of our energy, our electricity, because we buy it from Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania makes their electricity from probably a lot of it from gas and coal. So essentially, we're still using
Fossil fuels.
fossil fuels.
Yeah, more than 80% comes from fossil fuels, and less than 10% comes from renewable energy. Yeah. So the Green New Deal is a sham. It's completely,
BS.
to put it politely, yes. Any other questions?
Well, as far as energy goes, what's the status of Dickerson Power Plant? It's been shut down now for, 5 or 6 years? Is there any chance does the county have any sway over whether that stays open or closed? Or is it all state?
All state, all managed and directed by the Moore administration.
So as far as the county, doesn't really have a whole lot of sway in bringing in new energy sources here. We have these solar farms that I've been seeing popping around for some, I guess, green energy, but really there's no hydro, there's no nothing in the county. So the county's not going to be there for industry. What industry is the number one industry in the county?
Biotech.
Biotech.
And is there any work doing expansion for biotech, or is that, we got the 270 corridor with biotech, and that's been it besides government.
So what I've been able to see in the last 4 years is the state of Maryland and the county, they're following the Chinese economic model, which is, on the surface, it looks like an open market model, but if you dig deep, it's a government-controlled economy where the government decides which industries are the winners, and which companies and industries don't get the support. So they decide what to do, and of course, that entails bribes, corruption, etc. So that's what we're seeing in the county.
If in the master plan for the county, what growth is there in any kind of industry?
Biotech.
Is that the only growth that they have planned in the master plan?
They don't have a strategic economic plan. What you're hearing is that they're going to create these smart cities, and that's why they're.
Well, that's just residential.
Yeah, no, but that's why they're pushing the purple line in the state. So Bethesda you don't have to own a car, and you can walk everywhere within 50 minutes of where you live. Exactly. So.
Smart city.
Yep.
Well, Lake Forest Mall is shut down. It's going to become a smart city, right? Montgomery Village.
Montgomery Village is one, and I have more information on that, but I'll invite you to watch the videos and MoCo Resistance. And finally, with your help, I believe we can turn this around. We can finally have a GOP person in the council and volunteer. If you don't have time, great. Sit at home, create an account, get on X, get on Facebook, start retweeting, tweeting. We need to be together. We need to face the enemy up front. We need to be assertive. And with you on my side, I think we can create a lot of good things. Thank you very much.
Very good.